Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Dictionary. Finally, it's album reviews. You can find our band reviews and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I know I've been pretty quiet as of recently. I haven't posted a lot of album reviews, but I'm hoping to kind of pick that up a little bit. There's a few albums that are dropping not only in December, but also just in this past week that I'm hoping to get around to. There might be a new series in terms of like what I've missed and stuff like that will be coming out on the channel maybe in a week or two. But also I've been doing a lot of, like I said, interviews. Check those out if you're interested. And then live videos are kind of sporadic. I try to get them whenever I can. So if you are interested in those, or you're interested in a tour coming up, let me know. Maybe I can go out and go check it out. But without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about Windrunner's newest record, My. I want to give a huge thank you to Chelsea over at Famined Records, as well as Windrunner, for letting me review their record as well. We did an interview a couple months ago. It was a great time. We had a blast. Go check that out. It was a really fun time. And if you haven't found out about that band, they are a band from Vietnam. They kind of draw influences from a lot of progressive metalcore bands like Veil of Maya, North Lane, Novelist, things of that nature, Era, to name a few. If you enjoy any of those bands, I feel like this will be right up your alley. I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Mulan. I love the opening track. I think it's wicked. It just has that right amount of heaviness to it. And you can, again, pick out where they have the influences from. More specifically, the band that comes to mind is North Lane. It has that very like ambient but also real heavy kind of chuggy sort of riffage going on there. Enjoying the layered screams. I don't know if their guitar player or some other member of the band does the lower screams, or if their vocalist does. That would be super awesome if she did that. I know that most of the songs have been in that more mid to high range screams, but she could be doing the lows. I have no clue, but that would be super sick. I also like particularly how it leads into the next song, which is track number 2, which is Oleander. This one is another really good one, digging the more melodic and darker approach to this track. I think it also has some really cool Asian tonality to it, where either in the padding or the layering of the track, you can really hear it. There's a few other tracks that really kind of accentuate more of that Asian flair, and I like that they brought that into their play style as well as their musicianship. I think it really obviously harkens back to just their roots as being a band from Vietnam, but also I think it really pays homage to a lot of the more like older Asian style music in that time frame. I like the vocals. However, I feel like it is rampant throughout this entire record. I feel like the vocals sit a little bit too far back in the master and the mix. From what I was listening to it in my car, I was listening to it on my speakers on my computer, and I was listening to it through these headphones, and I felt like there could have been a little bit more done with the vocals. I think they could have been definitely pulled up a little bit. They just feel a little bit set back for me personally. But I like the cleans a lot. I think they really add a nice addition to the song, which you really didn't hear in Mulan. But if you have heard the singles, obviously there's clean singing. I like that this one has more of a heavier influence, especially towards the second half of the song. You can hear like blast beats. You can hear more of the heavier side of what they are going for in terms of maybe not just straight metalcore, but you can hear a lot more of that heavier tonality in this song. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Sakura. This one features Sang Yul Sang. I don't know which band he's from, but his screaming was really sick. I'm gonna tell you more about this one. It has definitely more of a North Lane vibe to it as well, much like the first track, Mulan. I like that there's a bit more space, a bit more atmosphere, obviously playing a lot off of that sort of North Lane vibe of the track. The chorus is really sick. I definitely feel like the cleans take the spotlight of this track, and I think that Sang vocal parts from 2 minutes and 13 seconds to around the 2 minutes and 50-second mark were really sick. I would have loved if they did some like harmonized screams. I know that they do it in Orchid, but I would love to hear it in this track. I think it would have just really accentuated it. I think it would have been one of my favorite singles, up there with Rose for sure. But there's a nice little guitar solo at the end of this track as well. And I think that this one has a really great bounce, a really great just pull and draw to it. And if you haven't listened to it already, go check it out on YouTube. So we're moving to track number 4, which is Marigold. This one is one of my favorites. I'm digging the guitar riffs of this track. I think it has more of that sort of tappy riff going on there, and it also reminds me a lot of Silent Planet in the way that they incorporate tapping into their riffs. I can kind of hear the sort of mirroring or mimicking of that sort of vibe in this track. I also like that this one has more of a just menacing tonality to it. It's a little bit heavier. It's a little bit more aggressive. I think there's a lot more screaming involved in this one as well. And I think it adds a lot of depth and a lot of just heavy elements to this track already. The chorus is a little abrupt, but I think it is so catchy that I actually don't mind that it's just kind of out of the blue. It just feels like, it transitions from the verses and then it gets to that chorus and it just seems a little bit off. But the chorus, phenomenal. I think the instrumentals are definitely my favorite part of this track without a doubt. And again, you can hear more of the Asian influences. It's got more of that sort of like vibe to it. I don't know what type of instruments they use, but I know it also was used extensively or pretty extensively in the Ocean's 8 Alaska movie. Why am I saying movie? Ocean's 8 Alaska record that came out last year, I believe. It has that sort of vibe to it as well, which is really cool. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Orchid. This one features Yuto Hirabashi. I am just butchering everything tonight. It is late, and I probably shouldn't be doing this as late. But anyway, getting back to the track, it is one of the singles as well, which you can check out. I also like the sort of reverby and ambient intro to the song. I think it just adds this sort of just extra element to the song that would be unwise, like unremitted, and it wouldn't be just adding that sort of depth of layering in this song. I also feel like there's a little bit of a hiccup in the track at the 1 minute and 20-second mark to around the 1 minute and 45-second mark. I feel like there's a little bit of out of syncness to it. I could just be my ears, or it could just be the phrasing of the song, but it feels a little bit of off sync, and I've listened to it probably about 10 times now. And it just, every time I get to this one, it just seems a little bit off. I don't know if it's maybe just the instrumentals or just the vocal parts. I haven't really deciphered yet, but it definitely has a little bit of off sync to it for sure. I like that this one combines a lot of that melodicness and the heaviness that I like from Windrunner into one song. It also has the most amount of cleans so far in a song as well. And I love that breakdown, or this part between the 3 minutes and 22-second mark to around the 3 minutes and 40-second mark. I think it is really extremely well executed, and definitely something that I've been looking for in terms of the harmonized scream parts of the song. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is Dahlia. This one is an interlude. I think it is a really nice melodic piece. I think it separates the record in a nice way as well. It really kind of is almost like a musical palette cleanser in a way, and I think it is beautifully arranged and well orchestrated. So we're going to move into track number 7, the title track, My And Man. That intro is so good. It's one of my favorite intros. It has that sort of beautiful, like Asian-esque quality to it that I've come to know and love about this record. I like that it has a sort of call and response in terms of the cleans and the screams, especially in that intro portion of the song. I think that if they did that more often, that would be beautiful. I also just love how accentuated that part is in the song, and I like how it kind of weaves its way in and out throughout the song as well. I think the screaming in this track is on point. It's probably my favorite screaming track off the record for sure. And it just has this great bounce to it. And I think that it offers in comparison to just the screaming and just the melodicness, I think there's a nice balance between both of those. And I think this one definitely best represents Windrunner. If there was any track that I would recommend to anybody to listen to about this record, I would definitely choose this one. It has just that right amount of heavy. There's a little bit of cleans in there that kind of, round out everything. But I think overall it's just so good, and I think it's just so well arranged. It's definitely one of the best, if not the best song off the record. And the cleans on this track, ooh, they're nuts. Love them. Definitely one of my favorites. So we're gonna move into track number 8, which is Cedar. This one is another one of my favorites as well. And I just feel like now we're getting the ball rolling. I feel like the first half, not to say it was hit or miss, I just feel like these tracks, the next couple tracks, are just some of my favorites that they've done. And I think that if they continued on in that direction, I would love to hear just kind of the evolution of that. But this one definitely has that sort of old school era vibe to it. I'm saying like, Augment, White Noise, those sorts of records. It has that sort of feel to it, which I love, especially in the guitar parts, but as well as that also just kind of in the layering and the styling of the track. It feels very Brian Hood-esque, and era-esque of that time frame. Digging the layering. I think the cleans, again, are really phenomenal on this track as well. And the breakdown at the 2 minutes and 20-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 50-second mark is really good. I think it just really rounds out this track in a nice way, and I think it really gives a good run for its money in terms of best track off the record, competing with My, obviously. So we're going to move into track number 9, which is Rose. This is the first single that they released off the entire record. And it's one of my favorites. I think every time I come back to this one, I really love it. It has a great swing. It's got a great groove to it, and it has almost that sort of pop aesthetic to it, just the way it's arranged. And I think just the ear catchiness of it, it feels very pop-esque. And just even with the sort of layering, the electronics that are going on in this track, it leans more towards that pop feeling. Definitely you can hear it more so in the chorus rather than in the verses, but there's a little bit here and there that you can hear throughout the record. I think that Jong's cleans are super awesome. I think her falsetto is beautiful. I'd love for her to utilize that a little bit more. I feel like it was definitely underutilized in this record, but I would love to hear her do that more, maybe in a future release. This one definitely has more energy to it, and obviously keeping up with Cedar and My for top contenders off the track. But I definitely feel like the Vietnamese version, which is actually the bonus track off this record, I think that it is just the slightest bit better because I love the flow, I love the arrangement vocally of the track. I think it just separates itself in a way that I can't listen to the original as much as the Vietnamese version. I think that one is just way better. The phrasing seems a little bit more, congruent with what the song's going for. Not to say that the English version is bad. I just feel like the native tongue just works out a little bit better in this track. So we're gonna go move it into track number 10, which is Narcissus. This is the most recent single as of I think 2 days ago. It is one of my favorites. Even if they weren't gonna release it as a single, I would definitely consider this to be one of the best songs off the record as well. It has that groove, and I'm telling you, this one grooves hard. The melodies on this track are super infectious, and I love the riffs in this track. It's just heavy, it's brutal. It definitely reminds me a lot of Novelists in the way that they kind of ride that line of melodicness, but also have that really great heaviness and that brutalness that I expect from a metalcore band in this day and age for sure. It has more of that sort of genty vibe, especially in that breakdown part. It's got that really cool syncopated riff part that I would, every time I get to that one, it just hypes me up. I love it. The chorus is phenomenal, and I'm loving the sort of melodic and just beautiful ending of this track. I think it is just solidifies this track as being one of the best just because it is so well arranged, it's so well executed, and I love the way that it goes. So we're gonna move into track number 11, the last track technically of the record, Lotus. This one keeps up that sort of high energy as well and finishes off the record not in a particularly standout way, but I think it is definitely straightforward, and I like that approach to it. It doesn't have any frills, it doesn't have anything like just extra going for it. It's just a straightforward metalcore song that I like. I appreciate that straightforwardness in a track. I feel like, a lot of them were a little bit more like, gentler. It has a little bit more rhythm to it. This one just feels a little bit more to the point. And I appreciate that. The screams were really good in this track. I think it is mostly, if not primarily, all screams except for the choruses. And I think that it is a solid way to end off the record, their debut record, with a solid ending. So some pros and cons. I like that they incorporated a lot of Asian vibes in the track. I think that obviously being from Vietnam, they borrow a lot of influence from that. And I like that they incorporate it into their music. I think the female vocals, Duong, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. If I am completely sorry. I am illiterate for some reason tonight and every day, but more specifically tonight. But her voice is super good. Her English is so good too, which I'm really definitely surprised about. I think it just works well. I would love to hear some of the songs that I loved, maybe in Vietnamese. That would be totally tight. Maybe they'll do that. Have no idea. But the vocals are definitely cool, and I think they are definitely a huge selling point of this band. Just not only because she does screams, but she also does some really awesome cleans as well. But I'd love for her to expand her range, do a little bit more for the next release, and just kind of maybe branch out and do some different vocal melodies, do a little bit of different stuff. I think it would be really awesome. And I like just how they arrange the melodicness and the heaviness. I think they just work super well in tandem, and they just have this beautifulness. I think tracks like Cedar, Narcissus, or I don't even know how to pronunciate shit, but those tracks definitely have that quality to it that I like and I love from this band. But this record isn't without its cons. I think vocally, like I had mentioned earlier, I feel like the vocals sit a little bit too far back in the mix, which definitely hinders me from loving certain tracks, just because I feel like the vocals feel a little bit too far back. So maybe that's just an issue in terms of just, getting somebody to mix and master their records. So that is something that can be easily fixed. But I would love to hear more of that vocal punch, a little bit more vocal forwardness. And I'd love to hear some harmonies, not only in the screaming end of the things, but also vocally. I think there's some really great moments of that. But I'd love for that to continue on into previous into future releases. That would be super sick. But my overall rating for Windrunners, I'm going to be giving it a 9.4 out of 10. Please go check them out. Awesome band from Vietnam. And I'm so excited that this record is out today. Please go pick it up. I'm definitely going to go add it to my CD collection, which is hanging up over here off camera. But definitely let me know in the comments below what track is your favorite, what you like about it, what you dislike. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. Again, thank you to Windrunner and Chelsea from Famined Records. You guys are awesome. Keep doing your thing. And definitely go check out Windrunner. Links in the description if you want to know about their band. And if you enjoyed this review, please hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Help me get some sleep because your boy needs it. But thank you guys for watching this video. We hope you have a good day, and I hope you got your fix. I'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.